Hello and welcome back to Tinker Talks Guns. Tonight we're going to be discussing EDC, everyday carry. And most people have an EDC gun. That is most people who carry a gun have a gun that is their go-to gun for concealed carry. It's not the only gun they'll ever carry concealed. Sometimes circumstances will dictate that something else is more prudent. More concealment, hot weather, there's a million things. But for years, based on my assessment of the likely threats I would face and extensive knowledge of the area I've lived in for the last 20 plus years, I've felt perfectly comfortable carrying anything from a snub-nosed revolver to my Detonics 45 Combat Master as an everyday carry gun. Lately, I have been reevaluating my potential needs for an EDC, and it seems prudent to switch to something more capable. Now, there are a lot of people making some very well thought out, very fine EDC guns these days. But I have a budget, I have finances, and I can't just go out and purchase the new hotness every time it comes up. So, I have to go with what I've got. Now, some of you may have seen the video for the Street Racer, which was a 1911 45 that I kitted out to act as either a carry gun or a match gun. Now, I'm old enough that I'm used to carrying heavy guns, and I have a good gun belt and good holsters. So the weight isn't so much an issue, but the longer barrel of the 1911 really doesn't always suit. Sometimes it pokes me in the butt when I sit in the car or whatever, which is one of the reasons I usually prefer a shorter barreled gun. And I got to thinking about it and did some testing, and I came up with an evolution of the Street Racer. And let's have a look at that on the tabletop. Okay, this is the paddle holster that I made for my Detonics Combat Master. Fortunately, it fits the new configuration of the Street Master. So first things first, we unload and show clear. So, the Street Master's frame is largely unchanged, but I installed a 9mm ejector and a 9mm 3.5-inch barrel and slide. And there were a number of reasons to do this, not the least of which is the practical testing on some different drills showed that this was the best combination to suit my needs. And honestly, 25 yards in, I have not seen any difference in accuracy and a significant increase in performance over the full-length slide original iteration of this gun. And 9mm gives me a 10-round magazine and one in the chamber. So it's not high capacity, but it's not low capacity either. It's kind of a happy medium. So after testing and finding out that it worked and was reliable, I shortened the dust cover slightly to match with the new slide and did some details like the recessed conical beveled crown and the flatted face, and which is not a functional addition. It's just, I really like it. So I also did a bit of a trigger job and a little adjustment, and the trigger is now, it's not necessarily any lighter, but it's a little crisper with less over travel. And the trigger pull, I feel, is suitable for a carry gun at around 4.5 pounds. I don't really want it too light on a everyday carry gun. The sights are a Novak rear and an XS Sight Systems Big Dot with a tritium insert in front. And this gives me excellent accuracy and very rapid acquisition. So it's a good setup. And of course, the bull barrel has all the usual virtues of a bull barrel. First of all, it lets you have this short a barrel in a 1911, and it always indexes on these 2 points, so it tends to stay consistent no matter how many rounds you shoot through it, and it doesn't really loosen up. And I've got an EGW flat mainspring recoil system, which is an excellent unit that's proved itself well in other uses. And overall, I'm just very pleased with it. And it meets the arbitrary performance standards that I set, which were to shoot decent groups at 25 yards at a 1 shot per second cadence, and 5-yard rapid fire, and 3-yard panic fire, both one-hand and two-handed. And it just suits really, really well for these purposes for me. Now, this is where we talk about EDC. This is not, by any measure, any way, shape, or form, the perfect EDC gun. Certainly not for most people. But frankly, I've put more rounds through the 1911 A1 platform than any other platform, probably by a couple tens of thousands of rounds. And the manual of arms is more or less hardwired at this point. And so this is a good choice for me. I'm a large man. I'm used to heavy guns, so I don't have a problem with the weight, and I don't find it difficult to conceal. And honestly, this is only about 4 ounces heavier when loaded than my CZ P07, which is a polymer frame gun. So it works for me better than anything else I currently have. This doesn't mean I'm not upgrading my P07, thanks to a good friend and a supporter of the channel, Leah, who got me a very nice birthday present. She got me a Cajun Gunworks spring kit for the P07, and the installation was fun, frustrating, and genuine comedy gold. So I will be working with the P07, and it will probably replace this gun at the point that I'm as comfortable and confident with it and able to shoot it as well as I do this one. But for now, this is the new EDC, and I really, really like it, and I enjoy shooting it. The last thing that I mentioned at the tabletop that I enjoy shooting this gun is not an insignificant consideration, because a gun you don't like to shoot is a gun you're not going to practice with. And practice is the most essential modification you can do to your EDC, is modifying yourself to be better with it. And the CZ-P07, I have to admit, the extra 5 rounds is a significant incentive, so I will be working with it, as I said, to make the gun and my skill with it up to par. But until then, I'm not unhappy with this. It's comfortable, I shoot it well, it meets the arbitrary performance standards I established for an EDC, and it doesn't hurt that it's kind of neato. So choosing the 1911 platform in this instance was not an example of fuddery. And EDCs and what is best for you is highly individual. We all live in different circumstances, different climates, different body types. So the best choice for one person is not the best choice for another, necessarily. So anyway, for now I'm very happy, and I got to do what I love, which is test things and play around and modify things. Win-win. Anyway, if you enjoy the video, please please hit like, because it really does help the channel, and the channel could use the help. If you want to see more, subscribe, and if you want help in a more material fashion, there's always the link for my Patreon account in the description below. So I hope this finds you well, stay safe, take care, and we'll talk to you again real soon.